Good afternoon. So, the scariest moment that I'm avoiding in my time, that for all my claimants online that I'm using online is has also already arrived. So, uh, I'm so amazed that how did Facebook can detect any words from a person, for any person, that they can label it or detected it or censored it as hate meaning resentment or revenge or venom or abdor meaning so loath if you're biblical. So I'm just so amazed how did it happen, but it's not my pride. I'm so glad that meaning it happened to me. Like I was restricted for 3 days. Then after that, I got 7 days. Then this time is 1 month. So it doesn't hurt my feelings because I didn't notice because I'm so very outspoken. So I didn't notice that my comments was already come to an end where it's beyond. For me, it wasn't considered beyond because that's the reality of what I want to send a message. So I want it to be cleared. Although for others, they will say it's more on mumbling and rambling. It's like most of the more normal mind people, they will consider it as they don't understand it at all. So but I have this group of people that I was seeking some help. I think they understand how I speak, but it's usually what do you call this one? It's more on you have to, if you're a normal minded person, you have to dissect the way I said things, because literally I just speak it out. I just write it down, and so you have to dissect. You have to discern, and you have to do your things because I'm lazy. I'm lazy to iterate more or explain it clearly. So that's how I am, and uh, I feel bad about it because I've been warned by my boyfriend not be too much, or not to be too much, or whatsoever feelings that I have. But I'm just all I did is to send the message that that's what I want to do, and I'm so against about it in such a way that we have to do cleanings in the real way, meaning of cleanings, from the words, from the actions, and from the thought that we have, especially when any words that come out in our mouth, or in our mind. Once it's from our mind, it's been through a process where you have to make sure there's a time where you can think about it. So you have to be careful. And you have to think before you speak, and then before you post. Nowadays it's like before you have to think before you speak. This time is you have to think before you post, and you have to think before you comment. So for me, it doesn't bother me at all because that's the reality of me. I'm not also aiming in my life to have an enemy, or that I will be killed, because meaning I'm so very outspoken and outvocal with my words. And especially like recently when I had that with about the gays, the sexual wordings and the actions for all the gays versus diseases. I've been through also where I'm against the karma teaching of all the monks. They have I've read about how they teaches or they preaches about their yogic or whatsoever karma teachings, or of all the gurus in India. So I was studying about it, and so I'm so against about it. I made a lot of corrections for it, but I'm in the Philippines, so I have no ways how to make corrections and reiterations, and then they have also to make some changes. It's all about changes because it's really against the reality of life in general. It's more on in the reality of life in general. You cannot, because most of us, meaning, especially if it's all about religions or belief, you should be careful about it. It's not that because you're influential, because you're doing such things, you just free to do it, because no one is against you, because it's religions and it's risky. So even government don't like to touch it, but I'm working on it where all the gurus or all the religious leaders can be also controlled by the government, because they need some fixed salary, because I don't like them to be look like beggars, because it's like beggars, and then they are all like illusioning to be in heaven or to be with God or whatsoever. So for me, based on my experience, I underestimate the heaven of God. So even if, meaning, we some people believe that, this life is heaven. For me, even when I was young, meaning, I have secret ideas that, this is, meaning, when you think about them, meaning, we were talking about a feeling. So I don't have any resentment, but I just have some kind of, I just like to be get some attention from president of the US. So that's why, because, meaning, seriously speaking, they were talking about happy Pride Month. They didn't even pay attention on my screaming on their sides and the messages that I want them to know. That meaning, sir, my American man is safe. So never in the history of humanity that any human being is safe. Even all the saint, meaning, I'm a followers of Roman Catholic, meaning, we have all a list of saints here in the Philippines. So I never see them. Even Mother Mary, she's not a human, so she's not even considered as safe. She's even seeking some help as a spirit. So for me, I'm not spreading hates. I'm just stating the reality of what it should be done. What it should be done based on our faith and based on human as a human beings and as a human being, because it's dirty. For me basically, it's all about, because we were talking here about sex versus diseases. So our sexual actions versus the disease it brought to human beings, once we just practice our freedom in such a way that we don't know even ourselves. So knowing ourselves is not an easy hunky dory or just a 1 minute thing that, oh, meaning I know myself. No. So thank you.